Well, hello everybody. I'm here at St. Louis Escape, and we just got this new pinball game in here called Avatar. And we also got this other new pinball game in called the X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men. And this game is a whole lot of fun right here. Whether you like pinball or not, you would love that game. And so every single time that a new pinball game comes out, we buy it and we put it in here. And we got big plans here at the Darkness and St. Louis Escape. And we had to take one out because we only have room for 19 pinballs total. And maybe here coming up in the near future, we're gonna have a lot of extra room to do some more games, some more everything. And we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about our plans and how we come up with, where we're going from here. And a lot of that has to do with the season that just ended. Even though it's not ended, it's almost over. And you know what's crazy is, like, a lot of people are spending the winter now trying to get their haunts together. Then you go to Transworld and you see all this stuff and you get excited to go home. And keep in mind, that's like March. And then you got, like, some people are opening for halfway to Halloween, and you just, like, you're trying to, like, you spend, like, it's almost like an eternity, a lifetime to renovate your haunted house, right? To get your haunted house ready to go. Just popped a drink here. And then you open your haunt and you do this. You blink your eyes once and it's like over. Where did it all go? All that time, all that energy for something that's over in a blink of an eye. And this season has to be one of the worst ever. And I've talked to so many haunts, and they tell me that the same thing, that their season has, gone absolutely south, and people are blaming it on different things. Let's review. They're blaming it on the economy. That's a good one. They're blaming it on the economy because inflation is so crazy. And that's what I really can't stand, when people are saying, oh, Kamala Harris will be better for the economy than Donald Trump. I mean, come on, that's crazy talk right there. But at the end of the day, inflation has really gripped this country. And one of the big areas where it's really gripped the country is on housing. So if you have to buy a house is literally almost doubled in just 2 years. It's crazy. Apartments now, they're building them out of control everywhere, and apartment rents are sky high. It's insane. And when people, their number one priority, if they don't live with their parents, which, by the way, a lot of people are living with their parents a lot longer now, but one of their top priorities is making sure the rent's paid so they don't get evicted and go back to their parents' house, okay? So that is a huge cost right now, and that's priority number one. So I think when you talk about the economy being a factor on whether you're doing well or not doing well, it's not really the economy so much as it is the fact that haunted houses are too expensive. And a minute ago, I was showing you those pinball machines, and nobody's able to sell pinball machines anymore right now. Not the way they were during COVID, that's for sure, because the pinball companies jacked up the prices to $12,000, $13,000, $14,000, $15,000. It's crazy. And so now when they do a theme that, do I really want that theme for 15 or 14 or 13? Like, skip it. But back when the prices were $9,000 for a limited edition pinball, it was like, oh, it just sells immediately. The price is a big deal. So when you have this economy that, in my opinion, our government and the fake news media is trying to literally sell to you that it's doing fantastic when it's not, only because, hey, it's just supposed to be really good until the election's over, and then you'll hear all about all the layoffs and everything else. But the reality is that a haunted house, the price has just gotten sky high. And I will tell you another reason why I think haunted houses are not doing as well is because of theme parks. I think that a lot of people now think the best haunted experience in the world is Universal Studios Horror Nights. And what are you seeing the Six Flags of the world all doing? They're trying to copy and mimic Universal Studios. They're using a lot of the same marketing cues. And they've really changed a lot of keywords in the haunted house industry, such as, is it a haunted house now, or is it a haunted maze? If you're a Scream Park, should you say, we have 5 haunted houses, or we have 5 mazes? Well, Universal's made the word maze kind of like the terminology now for what a haunted house is. So should a haunted house change their terminology to maze? Something to think about. Universal Studios has also coined the phrase scare zone. That was not coined by No Haunted House. That was coined and marketed by Universal Studio to up the value of their attractions. We have more attractions because we have scare zones. What is a scare zone exactly? It's a fog machine, a couple actors, and a couple smashed up cars. But we have 5 of them. Okay. I think that Universal Studios has had an impact on the haunted house industry in the fact that they have said to the Halloween goers, it's all about experiences. It's all about value for the dollar. And a 20-minute haunted house for $40, or going to a Universal type of experience, and a lot of these theme parks are on what you call season passes. They don't tell you, oh, by the way, we want an extra $40 to go through the haunted house. That's a minor detail, because they have all kinds of things going on. They have roller coaster rides and everything else. I think theme parks are really trying to embrace the concept of Universal Studios. Now, how do I know this? I used to sell haunted houses to theme parks, and I got out of the business because they wanted to spend $60,000, $80,000 on a house. You can't do that. You can't make any money, and it's just not feasible. So I started building mini golfs and laser tags. And now these haunted houses, these theme parks are spending $300,000, $400,000 on one haunted house. They're taking this very seriously. They're also licensing movies the same way that Universal Studios does. Here's another thing that the theme parks are doing that they weren't doing before. When you think about Universal Studios, they have influencer nights. They're not paying those influencers. Why would they? They're Universal Studios. They're not going to pay you. They're just going to allow you to come and videotape it, okay, for your channel. But Six Flags, they're paying for it. They have literally, from my understanding, been paying influencers to come and make and document and do videos of the theme parks. They've been reaching out to the same influencers that do the Universal Studios year over year over year over year, meaning like it's the same group that films them every single year without failure. And Six Flags and the Cedar, all those people are going after those influencers to say, no, come here instead. So now if you look around on these influencers and they're covering these haunted attractions, guess what they're doing? Multiple Six Flags. Go figure. They still did Universal, but now they're doing all these theme parks. You know what they're not doing as much of is independent haunted houses, because the theme parks are really, really dialed in on these guys. Could that be a factor? The price of a theme park, the price of a haunted house is getting so close now. And the theme park doesn't care, because they get you in some cases they charge for parking, they charge for food, they keep you there all night long, you buy lots of overpriced food, a lot of overpriced soda and everything else. Yeah, I mean, they're getting money in all sorts of ways, okay? And a haunted house mostly relies on one thing and one thing only, and that is the gate, the ticket price. I want to also say that the Darkness's attendance is down, just like everybody else's. But you know what? When I opened for Friday the 13th and I offered the ticket prices and I said, the price is slashed by 13 years. So essentially the ticket was $20. Guess how many people came? 2,000 people. That proves that if you lower the price, people will come out in droves. But when you go back to the price of 33 or 34 with ticketing fees, it gets up into $37, $39, $42, you're finding that less people are interested in paying that kind of money to go to a haunted house that lasts 20, 30 minutes. The value, the theme parks are doing a good job of trying to educate people that, hey, we have more value. They're trying to ride the coattails of Universal Studios. Now, I hear that, you know, like all the theme parks are down as well, especially in Los Angeles. Why? Because there's a gazillion events now in Los Angeles. They're all decapitating each other. It's insane. This is a could we say multi-billion? I mean, we could definitely say it's $1 billion industry now. Probably, I think it's safe to assume it's $1 billion industry, because Universal Studios by themselves are probably doing a fourth of $1 billion. So yeah, I think it's probably safe to say that the haunted house industry has become $1 billion industry. And the people with the most money are going hard after it now. They're going hard after it. And you know who's helping them build all these haunted houses? Haunted house. The people that work at haunted houses. Not the owners, but the people that work for them are moonlighting and helping build these haunted houses. These theme parks literally hired people to help them build their haunted houses, and that's exactly who those people hired. Was moonlighters, people that mostly work at this haunt, but then when it moonlighted and did that. So in other words, the haunts are getting better, and the theme parks want to show them off. Therefore, they're having influencers come in and videotape them. I can tell you a theme park haunted house was so bad 5 years ago, they would never want you to videotape them. But now they do. Do I think they're as good as your haunt or my haunt? No, I do not. You take the Six Flags in St. Louis, for example, and you compare that to Creepy World. There's no comparison. It's not even close. That would be like comparing which animal is more dangerous, a garden snake or a king cobra? Yeah, okay. That's an easy one. Okay. There's still no comparison. But when the price gets really close together and you're having these economic woes, I think that the price is a big deal. It makes me ponder, should you go to dynamic pricing, and on those nights where everything is insane, no matter what, you charge the most, and then on the other days, you charge $21.95 to come on a Thursday, or on different days where you don't do as good, and you see. I mean, the problem is there's only one way to find out, and that's to do it. That's the scary part. You don't know, should I do that? Should I not do that? Because if I do and we get the same attendance, then I just cost myself a bunch of money. It's a really hard decision. And these are things that I think, unfortunately, the haunted house industry is really not that organized. We have an association, but I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, what do they really do? Nothing. They don't have stats. They don't have figures. They don't have information to share. They have nothing. They don't produce a trade show. They don't produce anything. They don't even produce, like, which I know Transworld would hate this, but I'll suggest it anyway. The association should absolutely do a summer trade show. Not a trade show, a convention where they rent a ballroom and they have all kinds of meetings and they literally crunch numbers, and they summer meetings for haunted houses, pick a different city, tour those haunts, and have a small little where every vendor can have no more than one booth. They do these kinds of events for all kinds of industries, but that's what the haunted attraction industry should do, because haunts need that event in the summer where they can just kind of get together and focus on trading information, not about meeting with vendors. And your vendor thing is like one day, okay? It's 6 hours, it's one booth, it's one day. Give the people a chance to talk to those people. And then the other 2 days, 3 days is meetings, it's seminars. It's no seminars about how to paint something, but like everything's focused on business. And you're not inviting haunt actors and everybody else to come. It's strictly invitation only, and you have to own or operate an attraction. And you're really getting together and you're focusing on trying to solve these problems together. And you can have these conversations, and you can have them in the open because you're only talking to other attraction owners. You put egos aside and you try to solve problems. And you try to discuss things like, should we make the haunt smaller and add other experiences? Should we get into the escape room industry? Should we open a laser tag, a mini golf? Like, what should we do? These are all things you can have with a summer, business to business owner type of meeting. And yes, you can invite vendors. And it could be a moneymaker too for the Haunted House Association. But the Haunted House Association needs to do something that makes a difference in the business, because right now they don't make a difference, and I don't think anybody cares about that group, whether they join just to say they're a member or not. You got to make the group do something that makes a difference, and that's what you should do. And I think you should actually go to Transworld, and even though they would be a little upset about it at first, hey, we want you to be a sponsor of it. Summer meetings, because you know what Transworld needs more than anything? They don't want to hear the news that haunted houses aren't doing well. Do you think vendors want to hear that the haunted house industry isn't doing well? Of course not. So that's why you have summer meetings only for haunted house owners and operators to get together. It's kind of like, think about it this way. The NFL, okay? The NFL has owner meetings, and sometimes the owners don't go, but the people who are the general managers, the presidents, they go. And what do they talk about? They talk about, hey, how can we improve the game? They talk about how they could, increase revenue. They talk about all kinds of things, okay, that the public aren't allowed to go and witness. And that's what, in my opinion, the Haunted House Association should do. And I'm not criticizing the current president, the previous one, the one after that, but this association's got to step up, and they've got to make it a priority and not if we do summer meetings, I don't want to see one damn actor there. okay? And it's not because I don't like them. It's because you've got to get to the brass tacks. You've got to literally have a forum where you can literally talk openly about safety, about should we lower the amount of actors we have, or should we increase the number of actors we have? Should we have more animations? Should we have less animations? You can't have that conversation on a Haunters Hangout because there's 50,000 members. That means there's about 49,000 people that don't own or operate a haunted house. That's what that means. You can't have that conversation there. You just can't. So this is why I'm doing these videos, because I'm trying to push the haunted house industry to get better at what they do. And here's the thing, at St. Louis Escape, it now makes more money than any of my haunted houses. And every single person that I've talked to that has a haunted house and an escape room will say, or most of them anyway, will say the exact same thing if their escape rooms are successful. And haunted houses that are experiencing these bad, harsh times are going to have a harder, it's going to hurt them a lot more than if they have other businesses to pick up the slack. So over here, I have Blacklight Attractions, which, by the way, I haven't sold a mini golf, other than the fact that I did sell one just 2 weeks ago. But I haven't really been trying that hard either. But Blacklight Attractions helps supplement some of the bills that are here. But the escape rooms are really the gold mine now, okay? And that's why we have to put a lot of emphasis on the escape rooms. And you know what the haunted houses do? It distracts me from growing the escape room business, because the haunted houses take so much energy, so much money, so much investment, so much everything to get them up, running, and they're so time consuming and so hands-on that it kind of pulls you away from opening another business in a lot of ways, because it's just it's a disease. It's really a disease. And I don't see many haunted house owners driving around in Ferraris and Lamborghinis because it's a disease. You make a little money and you want to instantly spend it on new stuff. It's a disease. It really is. You're obsessed with making new scenes and buying more stuff and getting more of this and getting more of that. And then you run into a bad season like this one, and you're like, man, I wish I had a little bit more money. I wish I had something else to fall back on. That's why the association should be about pulling just owners and operators together so they can literally educate one another. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I think it does. And as much as maybe somebody might not like that you do it, you have to do it. You just have to. Or maybe they should do it, but then that just makes the association even more irrelevant than it already is. Because the association does not change anybody's life. It doesn't make you a better haunter. It doesn't make you a worse haunter. You're just a part of something. Like if you join the Boy Scouts. So whether Transworld does something like this, or the association does something like this should be done. So we can discuss. Let's talk about like theme parks. Should we push back harder? Should we try to educate the public, maybe through the association, the difference between a theme park haunt and an owner-operator, like a small business? Should we push back through social media? Should we not be thinking these other three haunted houses are our competitors, our enemies, and maybe we're all working together, focused on taking the business back from the theme parks? These are all, and by the way, I'm not saying theme parks are the enemy. I'm just saying they're doing a better job. They're embracing, they're following the model that Universal has laid out, and that is having an impact. The election is having an impact. People, and I hate to say this, but I call them Donald Trump calls them the fake news media because they are fake news. I mean, they are in overdrive right now. Every little misstep that Donald Trump says, I mean, it's just overemphasized. They literally call him a threat to democracy. I mean, they've had 2 assassination attempts on his life. Who knows how many others they might have stopped. I mean, literally. And it's not just the Democrats. The Democrats are literally, they play politics to an evil level. I mean, they are absolutely evil. They play race politics, fear politics, and they do it better than anybody because 90% of the media is on their side, so it's easier for them. But I'm not saying the Republican side doesn't do the same thing. They're fear-mongering, the Democrats as well. It goes both ways. When you see commercials, like say, for example, from Donald Trump and Donald Trump only, talking about, oh, she's for transgender surgeries for people in prison and things like that. Yeah, I think I would agree that most people would not agree with that, but is that really an issue that is affecting your life right now? Is that an issue that is not putting food on your table if somebody gets transgender surgery in prison? No, it's not. But that's fear-mongering. That is literally trying to say, are you opposed to that? It's trying to say the other side is radical. It's not talking about like how we're going to bring jobs back, how we're going to get the economy bouncing back. So this whole election is all about trying to make you hate the other side. The Democrats are way better at it than the Republicans. I laugh, I mean hysterically laugh, when they talk about how bad Donald Trump is. I mean, the Democrats are worse, okay? They're worse. But they have the media on their side, and they literally have made, not just Donald Trump, it doesn't matter what Republican it is, fear-mongering, okay? It's been going on for a long, long time. And you know what's really interesting, though? Because of Donald Trump, the Republicans have gotten a lot better at it, because Donald Trump's good at it as well. Yeah, does he insult people? Yes. Does he fear-monger people? Absolutely. But that's where we're at right now. Social media is just in a blur, because every day the news or somebody on social media is saying, and the election is 15 days, knock on every door, tell everybody, you can't vote this way and you can't vote that way. That is playing a factor in the season. Absolutely is playing a factor in the season. So I think it's pricing. I think it's the election. I think the economy actually really is bad, and the fake news media is doing everything they can to pretend that it's not when it really is. And I think if Donald Trump becomes president, that he's going to get a recession right off the bat. I think if Kamala Harris wins, so she's going to get a recession right off the bat. Everybody's trying to hold this, pretend this economy is doing well, at least until the election, and then I think it's all going to unload one way or the other. But the economy is struggling because of inflation. It doesn't help that there's wars going on all over the place, and Russia can't sell their oil, and bring energy costs down because they've got so many embargoes against them. There's just a lot going on that's not positive right now. And so, I have a national website, hauntworld.com, and I normally get tons and tons of requests to do interviews. And yes, I've done a few, but nothing to the level of last year or the year before or the year before that, because there's an election. I think that is a huge, huge factor. And I also believe if Donald Trump wasn't running and it was Marco Rubio was going to be the Republican nominee, I don't think you would see the same level of fear-mongering, because Donald Trump, in a lot of ways, he is a change president. I mean, he wants to change everything, and a lot of people don't want things to change. So change is scary, and a lot of people are afraid of change, and they're going to fight a lot harder than like a career politician like Marco Rubio. But we are where we are at, It's a nightmare on social media. It's a nightmare on the news. And it's going to stay this way. And guess what? Until November the 5th, when the election is. And guess what? Our season's over. So this is just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. But what you can do about it is you can expect bad seasons in the future. And that's why you got to prepare yourself. You got to be ready for this kind of thing. And that's why, hey, we did a St. Louis Escape, and we put all of our energy into St. Louis Escape, all of it. And then, but we keep going back to the haunted house because we love Halloween. I loved Halloween. But anyway, so that's my rant for the day. And thanks for watching the video, and leave a comment and tell me what you would like me to talk about next. But on another subject, and I'm going to do a whole nother video about it. What do we do from here? Will the Transworld show be down? I will tell you this. I have talked to some haunt owners, and they told me that they will be spending less at Transworld. I think a lot of people spent a lot of money at Transworld over the last couple of years because of all the government handouts. And COVID was really good to the haunts that did open because nothing else was open. So we had some feasting there. And I think the haunted house industry is going to be spending less money. I was also told that some of these Six Flags that bought a lot of haunted houses, these haunted houses are going to be there for 2 years. So they might be spending less money as well. I do think it will be a down year for spending. My suggestion to the vendors is bring something good. Okay? Bring something cool, bring something exciting. Because I do think that spending overall would probably be down some. But then again, haunted houses have a disease. They like to buy new stuff, so who knows? Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can tell you from my perspective, as bad as the season has been, it doesn't change anything I'm doing because our escape rooms do so well. We literally went into the season. Yes, I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money that the escape rooms made. I'm slowly getting it back. But I'm kind of like back to where I was like 10 years ago before I had escape rooms. It's like, oh, the last 10 days is, please don't rain the last 10 days. That's what I think most haunters are into. It's like, how will the last 10 days play out? And that's interesting because I did look at the last time their Halloween fell on a Thursday. The Friday and Saturday directly after Halloween do better because it falls on the heels of Halloween. So I did look that up, and you will do better on November the 1st and 2nd. Would I open the weekend after that? Absolutely not. I would not open. It's not worth it. I would close and focus on doing Krampus, cleaning up your haunt, getting it back in shape, and so on and so forth. As far as we're concerned, what we're going to be focusing on going forward is turning the attention back to what we need to do. At St. Louis Escape, we're going to be adding 2 new escape rooms. We're going to be adding, we're going to be replacing the Frankenstein, and we're building the Alien. So over the next month and a half, we've got to finish the Alien, and we've got to get that open by Transworld. We are going to tear out a pretty big little section. I say big and then little in the same sentence. Makes no sense. But we're going to tear out a little section, big section, hard to say, of the darkness. And we're going to completely gut it like we've done in the past and build something really cool. From my perspective, nothing has changed on that side. I also would like to let everybody know that I have done engineering to the darkness to expand the building in this wedge. And I have literally wondered and thought, like, well, what would I do to TerraVisions? How would I replace that? And maybe I will build a scary haunted house that also could double as an escape room. And I was talking about that a year ago. That's a possibility. Building a horror museum is a possibility. that also could be open for the escape room, and maybe it could be an escape room. So that's where my thinking is, but my focus has got to be on getting that building built. I'm going to build a new little section in the darkness. And I think one of the things that I want to do to the darkness this year is literally go through it start to finish and like try to make some of the rooms mini programs, meaning you take that room and you try to like add lighting and sound effects, and like when you walk in the room it kind of triggers it, and just really up the ante of the rooms, maybe improve the rooms. Like for example, the bathroom, I still like the way the bathroom looks, but you know, it really needs improvement. And so that would be a room that I would definitely want to improve. There's a little section downstairs I want to rip out completely and replace. But then I go to like the bathroom and I think we can do better. We can make this room scarier. We can focus on it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So there's other little things here and there, and we're just going to kind of sort of go through the whole thing and try to make vast improvements. We're also going to try to repair everything. As far as the LEMP is concerned, we haven't really done any major renovations to that in years. So we're going to completely try to upgrade the LEMP brewery. We are going to build 2 new escape rooms, and we're going to redo the darkness. So where does that leave us for Transworld? Well, I'll tell you where it leaves us for Transworld. We will definitely open this year. As of right now, we would do a darkness behind the scenes tour like we've done in the past. And I asked myself, how many years can people pay for this? Well, I mean, they keep doing it and keep selling out. Because we keep going way over the top with the darkness. So we decided that we're going to do something a little different this year. And I'm going to make a video to talk about this and this only. But we're going to charge more. I know, isn't that crazy when I'm saying that you should charge less? So we're going to do something. It's going to be very hard to do. It will overlap a little bit with the show. And we have no choice but to overlap it a little bit with the show. So we're going to do a behind the scenes tour this year where you get to go through the LEMP behind the scenes. You start at the LEMP because it's in a different location. And so you can choose to go to the LEMP or not, or choose not to go to the LEMP. It's up to you. So I think we would have that opening around 4:30, and then it would be over at 5:30. So this is after we renovate it and everything. And then something we haven't done in literally 8 years is a behind the scenes tour of the escape room. Now this is a big deal because I have to input a new schedule for the escape room so that we can do this. So I have to block out all escape rooms to give you a chance to get here. So that means the mini golf. 8 escape rooms. Right now we have 7. So that would be 8 with the 2 new ones. I can't tell you what the 8th theme is going to be because it hasn't been totally decided, but it will be done before Transworld. The alien will be done before Transworld. So you can come here to the escape room. I'll have escape room people here. They'll answer any questions. You can videotape. You can do whatever. All the pinballs will be on free play. You could play mini golf if you want. You could ask us questions about the mini golf. All of that, everything's on the board. We want to help haunted house owners expand their business. So what better way to do it than literally having a behind the scene escape room tour. This tour will be absolutely limited to 300 people because we can't get more than 300 people up here at one time. There's no way. It'll be a lot of people. Okay, and then after that, we'll have our seminar with some special guests who I don't know who that would be right now. It'll be a Q&A, and then it'll be the darkness behind the scenes tour. So you can go to LEMP, all 8 escape rooms, mini golf, pinball, the whole shebang. Then it's a seminar. Then it's the darkness. So it's only going to be slightly more, but there's another catch. If we're going to keep you that long, you probably wouldn't be able to eat, so we will provide dinner during the seminar. So the seminar is going to have barbecue, just like I did last time. It was delicious. And so there will be food, drinks, a tour of LEMP, a tour of escape room, all the escape rooms, meaning you can go to every single one of them and like ask us anything and we'll tell you. The seminar, and it's going to be limited to 300 people. This is going to sell out for sure, because anybody who wants to get into the escape room business or learn what we're doing here, you're going to want to come to that event. As of right now, like, we plan on opening the Darkness with live actors on Saturday, and then open the Limp on Friday with live actors. That's the plan right now. When it comes to Creepy World, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, I thought you said you were going to open Creepy World. Well, my son is literally pressuring me to open Creepy World, and we're going to try to close it and see what the chances are of doing that. It's just so expensive to open that thing and operate it. I wouldn't even be able to operate the whole thing, even if I did. You know, we've had people going through that thing, and somebody timed it on Saturday and said it took them 2 hours. It's not easy. Will we like to do it? Yes. Will we do it? 50-50. We won't know until a little bit later, after we get it closed and see where it's at. Also, I have to get permission from the fire department and the county. They both said they would do it, but they would have to inspect it. It's not easy getting it inspected, so I don't know. What if I took everybody's money and then I couldn't get it passed? I don't know. It would be a disaster. So I really don't know. But we're entertaining it. So as of right now, we're going to do this ultimate behind-the-scenes tour. We're going to do the Darkness with a Renovation, live actors, Limp live with actors. And if we decide to do Creepy World, then the Limp would not open. That's what it would boil down to, because there's only so many days for the show. So Creepy World would take its spot. So that is what we're doing today. So with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Let us know what you think in the comments below about if I'm wrong about any of this stuff. And by the way, I would say this too, the Haunted House Association, they really need to reach out to people that can help them the most get this figured out. Because it's not about egos, it's about helping people, helping each other do better in this business. And when I say egos and stuff like that, you know, they have this thing, it's an award for a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I don't know how many times they've given this out. I've never gotten the award. At one time I asked, like, you know, it's just insulting. And they said, well, you're not a member. And I'm like, okay. Well, they gave one to Sydney Neal. She wasn't a member. She hasn't owned a haunted house in 15 years. So it doesn't make any sense. You know, it really is about personalities. It's about egos. It's about all kinds of stuff. It really depends on who's the president at the time, who's running the board at the time. It's just like, that's the problem with the haunted house industry. If we're being completely honest, it really just boils down to, you know, some people want to like feel really important and put themselves in a position to feel important. And it's not about that. It's about, at the end of the day, taking care of your family. It's about taking care of your staff. It's about like keeping your haunted house safe. And it's about being successful and getting good results. And we can help each other do that if we just put all the nonsense to the side. But you know what? You might think, oh, wait a minute, you're griping about this silly award that won't change anybody's life. I don't care about an award. I really don't. I've never done any videos, any how-to, anything, nothing for an award. And I didn't even, when I first started making how-to videos, I didn't even, or created Hauntworld.com and helped the whole haunted house industry communicate, I never thought, oh, there could be an award for this. Don't care. Doesn't mean anything to me. I don't make any money off this YouTube page. I just do it because I care and I know how hard it is. And I have been saying And I hate to say this because it's just true. I've said to Transworld 50,000 times, will you stop doing 60 scares in 60 minutes? They do it because it sells tickets. And I always say, if you don't know about that yet, like, why are you in the haunted house business? What haunted house owners need help with is making smart business decisions. Building this escape room was a smart business decision because it's now overtaken the haunted houses. When I talk to Dwayne Sandburn from 13th Gate Escape, he will tell you the escape room makes more. When I talk to Ryan B. from Chicago, he said the escape rooms do better than the haunted house. But they'll never give up the haunted house because that's their passion. That's their passion. But at the end of the day, when you talk about somebody like Ryan B. and he bought this whole grocery store strip center, well, you can't do that, okay, if you're not successful. You've got to make money to be able to take those risks. And I think that's where the Haunted Attraction Association could really step to the plate, or Transworld could step to the plate and make some of these things happen. So that's my rant for the day. Make sure you like and subscribe. I wanted to say that I'm very excited that we have 14,100 followers now. I think maybe we're at 14,200, and we're about to hit 3 million views all time. So thank you. I do want to get to 20,000 views. So please make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you very soon. Right here from St. Louis Escape in St. Louis. We'll see you next time.